Are you on a tier 4 visa or a student visa in the UK and want to switch to a work visa, or what is currently known as a skilled worker visa, or in my specific case is the health and social care visa? I went through exactly that process and I'm going to explain that all here. So the first step is to get a job. You do have to be getting a job that can sponsor your visa. So I am a doctor, and so I've done all the exams and I've made a whole playlist of the whole process that I'm going to link up here if you are a doctor and want to see what are the exams that you have to do. So the first thing is get a job that is able to sponsor you for your visa. The next thing is to consider if your employer is going to be able to take the maintenance funds on the course. So some employers do not do that. So for instance, my first employer was Health Education England, and because they are a public body, they do not do this. So you have to then figure out, if you're not going to be able to do that, then you're going to have to save up maintenance funds for yourself and your family if you have them here. That is to show that you have money to be able to spend on, like you have money to be able to sustain you before your first salary. So it's a good idea to be doing all this in advance so that you know that at the end of maybe your university course, then you're going to have all the funds required. So they need around £1,270 for yourself, and then those specific amounts also for your partner and for your child, which I will link here. And then there is also a specific amount for each additional child. So you must have that money in your account for at least 28 days before applying for the visa. So for me personally, I did save this money, and I encourage you to save this money because even though your employer is going to take the maintenance funds, they usually don't give you the money. So therefore, you do need to be having money that you're going to use to live on. And also for me personally, I remember feeling like it was my backup plan for like my relocation expenses. If I had to go back to Ghana and haven't got a job, then I would need money for like the initial, I guess, months. Like you've arrived, what are you doing? You're still looking for a job. Yeah, so be saving money in advance. The next thing is English proficiency exams. So if you have done a master's in the UK, that is usually sufficient level of English that you don't have to be showing more like evidence. So you can do this by showing your transcript or your university degree if you've got it, or sometimes you can also get a letter from your university. But personally, I did attach my IELTS certificate because I had it anyways, just in case. The next thing that I attached was my university transcript as well to show that I have completed the course, because if you have come on a student visa and you haven't completed the course, that's not going to look very like, they do want to know like what happened, have you completed the course, like what's going on. The next thing as well is if you've been here on a scholarship, they also want a letter from your scholarship body to see that you're allowed to stay in the UK. So for some scholarships, I remember like specifically for the Chevening scholarship, and I think the Commonwealth scholarship and certain other scholarships, as part of their conditions is that they want you to leave the UK, ideally to go back to your home country for at least 2 years before you can return. So therefore that would mean you cannot just switch from a student visa to a work visa in that case. So my scholarship personally was okay with it, so they did write a letter for me to say that it's all right, like we do encourage our students to go back and take their skills, but they have no like they have no problem with it. So you'll be needing that as well. The next thing is going to be the immigration health surcharge, depending on the job that you're switching to. If it is a health and social care visa, then that's not required. But at the time that I was applying, this was not there, so we did have to pay the amount of money. It is currently about £625 per person per year. It's ridiculous. It's so much money. So you're going to have to save up money for this as well if you're here and you're coming for a different type of skilled worker visa and not the health and social care one. In terms of dependents, you can apply for your dependents as well, and for dependents that can only be your partner or your children, and so you can apply for them together at the same time if you're already here with them, and it's not a problem at all. You're just going to need to pay more money, i.e. for each of their applications, and also for their health surcharges if they need it, and also you need to show more money in terms of how much savings you've got for your maintenance funds. So after filling in the application form online, then you click submit, and then you're going to be redirected to another website to get biometrics appointment. Get an appointment to go and take in your fingerprints and a photo ID taken, which isn't required as much anymore, especially if you are in the UK and you're switching. Then that means that you've done this probably recently, and so they should have your information in the system. You just have to let them know, and then you don't have to do that part. But if you do for some reason, then unfortunately that's again likely to be more money if there are no free appointments. And then that is it. The next thing you have to do is just wait. So it takes up to 8 weeks for all other work visas, but only 3 weeks for a health and social care visa, which is amazing. So I've had to wait both times. I've had to wait for the 8 weeks and then also for the 3 weeks as well. So the 3 weeks is much easier if you're a health and social care visa. If you're not, then sorry. But eventually it comes. My one came exactly 8 weeks later, and it was such a frustrating period of time where I went temporarily homeless. Anyway, I'm digressing. So the good thing is, if you're on a tier 4 visa, even while you're waiting for your work visa, you are allowed to work more than the 20 hours that they say if you've completed your course. So that is, the 20-hour limit per week is only in term time, but if the course has ended, then it's actually okay to work full time. So if you're able to, or if you get a job, then it's actually okay to work while you're waiting. This obviously depends on the job. Some jobs will require you to wait for your new BRP before you can actually start the job. So you want to be finding out in advance if your job is one of these. So if you are a doctor and want to know exactly how much you can expect to earn while working in the UK, then I made this video here where I talked about all the doctor grades and also how much money for each of the grades.